After 3 weeks abroad in North America, the British racing legend, that is the Lotus 49, finds itself once again on familiar turf. Furthermore yet, as it's back on home soil. Brands Hatch is the venue for the opening round of the back half of this season. Looking back, the racing couldn't have been more exciting in the first 6 races, as this season already saw 6 different drivers on the podium. The biggest story though is the rising star that is Chapman. Scoring a 3rd place in Charlotte, one can only wonder what he can achieve in the coming rounds and seasons. So buckle up, get some popcorn and join us today as we're ready to watch round 7 of the Grand Prix Legend Series live on the Global SimRacing channel via the iRacing eSports network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ossian Puhaka, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes, our director Sean Greggs Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. The first ever race was held here back in 1926 by cyclists and cross-country runners on a grass circuit similar to today's Indy circuit. However, in the other direction. To hear more about the modern history of this circuit, let's head trackside with the GSRC Track Guide.
Welcome to Brands Hatch. When popular British racing circuits get listed, this track just to the southeast of London often finds itself near the top. The extensive history of the venue has meant that many famous names in racing have ran laps here. But the stats make it sound deceptively simple, with the Grand Prix and Indy course having 9 and 6 turns respectively. Laps might be short, but they're also fast, and the corners are often a challenge to get right. As you'd expect, that means passing is quite difficult, with most drivers leaning towards sending one up the inside at Druids. You might occasionally see overtakes into the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend, but the blind apex and gigantic drop in elevation make that an errand for only the brave. Many of the corner names pay tribute to famous British drivers from the past decades, such as Hill, Surtees, Sterling, and Clark. In fact, the fame extends beyond the drivers, but to the cars as well, with this place seeing everything from Formula 1 to Formula Ford, touring cars, GT cars, motorcycles, and even rallycross. It's a gorgeously scenic venue where lush trees envelop the back half of the course, while the front half is mostly encapsulated inside a natural amphitheater. This makes it extremely popular with race fans who can see a majority of the circuit from many seating positions. With a great location near a major metropolitan hub, a spectator-friendly layout, and an experience that challenges drivers, you can see why this place remains abuzz with racing to this day.
Joe Peak doing what nobody can do better, talking you a lap around the Brands Hatch circuit. Are you looking to take advantage of GSRC's over 1 million global monthly impressions? From official series sponsorships to commercial placements, we have advertising options customizable to suit your company's needs. Follow the link in the description to learn more. Speaking about learning more, Ossian, what can you tell us about today's venue?
Oh, Brands Hatch, I can tell you a lot about it. It has a long history, as you touched on, Stefan, and good evening to all of my viewers, or our viewers rather. But it's really surprisingly new in terms of the long layout, as that doesn't date back to pre-war. Indeed, it goes post-war, and it's still one of the old-time circuits in terms of feel and in terms of touch, and very suiting to these cars. No tarmac runoffs, a lot of grass around it, nice undulating English hills, and in general, a very technical circuit, which has the good sides of a high-speed circuit combined with that classic English touch, Stefan.
Very much so, the classic English touches. Speaking about English touches, well, we have a UK and I driver right now in first place on our F1 Drivers' Championships. That is, by the way, already accounted with the 2 drop weeks they get in this series. Mikel Edge, the name up top, 195 points to his name with Michael Doci, the Italian, still in second place, 177 points to his name with Rob Olenek, only 2 points behind. Overturning rate, the Norwegian, 4 more points behind, and then a little bit of a drop once again back to Peter Mikus, who is already over 40 points behind your championship leaders. 40 points, that's pretty much also the margin there in F2, Ossian.
Yeah, indeed. You got in Formula 2, oh, where's my heart? You have a Finnish driver in the lead of that one. Antti Keränen leading the Formula 2 championship ahead of David Rossi. Another Finnish driver, Pekka Risto in third place, Andrew Eng from the US of A in fourth place, and Erik Loikel from Germany rounding out your top 5. And you got a couple of veterans mixed in with a couple of new names, and that's always so interesting. But speaking about national leagues, Stefan, there's also a Nations Cup in this series. How does that look like?
Well, Ossian, I can tell you, it's the two United nations in United in first and second. It's the United Kingdom ahead of the United States, 250 and 237 points respectively in their favors. Italy is 20 points behind in third, and then we have Finland. The strength are combined here, 178 points to their names. Fourth place for them. Norway, the Scandinavians, really looking strong this season, and they are fifth place with 171 points to their name. I think that's all done by over train grade, if I'm not mistaken there for Norway. Speaking about making it all around, Ossian, how are we looking for today's race?
Stefan, it's looking to be a very usual affair here at Grand Prix Legends. We are looking at about half an hour of racing, round 7 out of 13. Yes, that's 13 races in this prolonged season. 25 laps around Brands Hatch. We'll be looking at open setups, meaning drivers can adjust these bathtub-like wonderful old race cars to their liking. You get penalties for 17 incidents, that's a drive-through, and at 25 incidents, that's a disqualification. But quite frankly, if you get 17 incidents with this car here at Brands Hatch, you got much bigger problems to worry about than a drive-through, Stefan.
Yeah, I think at that point you would be already driving upside down with 17 incident points. But it is going to be interesting after all, because we have a very tricky Better Kill bend that these guys have to manage 25 times in total, so it's going to be very interesting. Also very interesting, that is the order of qualifying right now. We have Raphael Dorado right now first place with Nikola Kochi in second. Ron Pawlowski is in third with over train grade sitting in fourth. And Bill Tyler is in fifth place. The biggest news though, that is Mick Crouch is not taking part today. He already said that last weekend, and he also mentioned the return of one great Michel Dudignon, who I actually can't see right now in this session. No, wait, there he is in 9th place. He already done his qualifying laps. 23.7, that's all he has been able to do, as Rob Plumley is going to sit a little bit further on the road in 20th.
Yeah, and when you're looking at these drivers doing their final laps, what I assume are, you still got 1.5 minutes left in qualifying. Dave Cohen actually only coming to the end of his first lap, I do believe. He has just enough time to finish this one, sadly not for another one. I'm looking at the number of these drivers, and you're looking at the big field out there today. We got 36 drivers taking place at Brands Hatch. Yes, that's 36 drivers. Now, this track, it's not horribly long. It's 3.7 kilometers. That's just over 2 miles for those who still use the wrong units. And, 36 cars, and you got 36 cars, you got, 2 miles of circuit. That's going to mean a lot of problems with lapped cars, Stefan, and that's something we're going to see a lot during this race.
Probably very much. And this also brings me to the point of introducing our third member of this commentary crew here today.
Okay.
It's Christian Chelina, and he's going to talk to you now about the importance of qualifying here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, so Brands Hatch is obviously a very tricky track at the best of times, and in a car such as this, qualifying really is important. It's very difficult to make a clean pass in these cars just because of how difficult they are on the brakes, and usually there's only the one passing zone after Paddock Hill Bend into the hairpin, so obviously it's very tricky to pull off a pass on the GP loop at the best of times, and with a car such as this, it's even harder. So qualifying a grid position is really everything.
Well, talking about grid position, we have now the confirmed order of your starting grid. Raphael Dorado, he is going to start in first place, about a 10th ahead of Nikola Kochi. Ron Paslowski in the very end, another 10th behind in third with over Tringerate completing row number 2 here today. Bill Tyler in 5th with Rob Olenek in 6th. Sebastian Tixier in 7th. Alessandro Parisi 8th. Michel Torino only in 9th place on his return this season. And Thomas Top rounds out your top 10.
Yes, indeed. It's Yuli Giesen, 11th, Igor Corbus in 12th place, David Rossi 13th, Chandro Pellerito 14th, Antti Keränen will be starting alongside another Finn, Pekka Risto 15th and 16th for those guys in row number 8. Eric Loikel 17th, Colin Bentley 18th, Janne Lehmann 19th and Robert Plumley rounding out your top 20.
Then we've got Warren Watkins in 21st, John Van Dorn in 22nd, Chris Hengler in 23rd, Andreas Bruno in 24th, Randy Hurt in 25th, Terry Thomas Haas in 26th, Bill Wright 27th, Dave Cohen 28th, and then rounding out the top 30 we have Trent Boost and Gary Anderson in 29th and 30th.
Douglas Nelson, Rodney Evans, Jasmine Beach, Andrew Ang, Robert Reynolds and Matt Yeomans are rounding out your 36 drivers here today at the beautiful Brands Hatch circuit. A few more drivers still need to go to the grid, so a few more moments for you to get your popcorn ready to have your most favorite soft drink right by your hand. And this surely is going to be a very interesting 40-minute race. 25 laps will be done today in a little bit of a hotter track condition, 40 degrees Celsius on the track, so that is going to be another point added to the already very difficult circumstances that is the Lotus 49 at the Brands Hatch circuit.
That sounds like a bad sauna.
Very much does so. As everybody is on the grid, the green flag is out and we are off. A little bit of a bad start there from second place. Nikola Kochi already under pressure from Ron Pavslowski, who has a little bit of a slide on the apex of Paddock Hill Bend, but they settle it out, and Nikola Kochi will continue in second place. A little bit of a kerfuffle in behind, but it looks like everybody clean so far.
Yeah, in the back as well, Antti Keränen went a little bit wide, couple of other cars having bit
Oh,
of
Randy Ho!
down.
Spins around Dave Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen is upside down there and he's not going to continue this race, he went turtle. But the rest of the field continues there with Raphael Dorado still in the lead, and whoa, that was a big accident for Cohen, but other than that, a surprisingly clean start, Stefan.
Very much does look very clean, just a little bit of an incident there. I think on a downshift he lost the car and then got snap oversteer right into Dave Cohen, but we're probably gonna see that later on in the race on our GSRC replay.
Indeed, so, and as these drivers travel through this 2-mile circuit, it's very important early on in the race to, just concentrate, have your focus on, be ready for the events upcoming ahead and not be too hassled by any outside factors. Just get settled in the cruise, and at Brands Hatch it's very difficult to overtake, as I'm sure actually I'm gonna throw you a little bit, a bit of a surprise question, but Christian, I'm sure you can just assure how difficult it is to overtake around this place.
Yeah, as I said before, it's extremely difficult, and obviously that's why grid position was so important. Interestingly, I actually had a little bit of experience running this track this morning in this car, so I found it very, very difficult. Every braking zone is really a huge challenge, so even on your own it's difficult. Trying to pass a car, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, sure is going to be interesting. And then you also have the added challenge that we're probably going to see during this race with the lapped cars, as Rob Olenek a little bit struggling there, out of picture through 30s, but he keeps it all together. And now into Pilgrims Drop. They had, for the second time in this race, a little bit of a weird right-hander. Just a very cambered corner, but really, still, you can't take too much speed through this turn because it sort of closes in the end. Oh, yep. Ron Pavslowski, big slide for him, sorry there.
Yeah, no worries. That is a big slide, and glad he was able to catch that one. Really forming battle packs here early on. You can see a couple of big situations. Roman Pavlovsky was able to catch the slide. He's got Ring Ride hot on his heels, and Rob Olenek as well, rounding out the top 5. And those guys are really in a bit of a battle once again. Uwe going alongside Roman Pavlovsky there, Stefan, and that's a good defense actually from the outside from Roman, and he's able to hold on to the third place for now. But Uwe Trengeride, he's really looking as feisty as we always expect here at GPL.
As we go on board with Rob Olenek, he is continuing to defend that position. I'm a little bit surprised about the lack of speed which Renrate showed there down the straight. So it seems like he really went for the turn speed rather than that straight line speed. I mean, yes, really not too long of straights here at Brands Hatch, but still very important to get those straight line speeds up, because they are your most leading into your most important passing zones.
Yeah, well, one thing actually about that straight, obviously it is a straight for most modern cars, but coming onto the front stretch, it's not flat at all, and it's very, very bumpy, especially as you get towards Paddock Hill. And actually, there's that little kink sort of midway down the pit lane, and if you're full throttle in this car, it can really unsettle it, and you can definitely have some really interesting high-speed wheel spin. So that might have been what happened to him there. He might have had that head lift a little bit, and that's why he lost the momentum he needed.
Yeah, it's very important to adjust your wings. Oh wait, yeah, wrong car.
Yeah, normally used to the Lotus 79 also, and makes the jump over to my Forte, the Lotus 49, a very, very different beast. Those two are the one with the ground effect, the other one with pretty much no effect whatsoever except for oversteer.
Yeah, and here's the battle for P number 3 once again.
Oh, that's a good one.
Run the outside. Yeah, that's a good one.
Or not, as always, Renrate steps on the throttle. His car is always very loose on throttle, and he loses all the grip he needs to continue on that fight with Roman Paslowski. And it really does seem right now that Roman Paslowski is the pushing battle for over Renrate and for Nick. They seem to be able to go fast and catch that train for second place, but right now Nicola Gocci ever slightly is away from Roman Paslowski. That gap up now 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, and it's still very early days in this race, so Uwe needs to really hang in that balance between staying calm and staying consistent and nailing those lap times, and not trying to throw his race away too early, but also get past Pawlowski as soon as possible. He needs to be on the lookout for those mistakes, and he needs to execute on them a little bit better than he has shown so far. He's had the chances, but so far he hasn't been able to find that one punch that can break Pawlowski's armor there. But I think he is a little bit faster over Renrate. He certainly has the speed in the corners, and if he can find just one good opportunity to get a good run on the back straight potentially, then he should be able to execute an overtaking move. But I must say, to Roman's credit, he's been very, very, very good on the defensive side, and especially using all of the racetrack.
Looking away from the battle for just a few moments, we have another battle for P number 7. That is Alessandro Parigi defending from Michel Didignon and Thomas Topp in behind. The German driver makes the end of the train, three-car train, for 7th position, and Parigi is hanging on for dear life over that attack from the Frenchman.
Yeah, and Michel Didignon, it's I can speak from experience here. Coming back to a car you know and love, it's always more difficult than people think, because you're not sure about your pace. You've been away for quite a while, and people expect so much from you. Michel Didignon, he's an absolute legend of this car. Alongside Mick Claridge, he's one of the true Lotus 49 lovers and a true, champion in this series in the past. One of the naturally fastest drivers I've come across on iRacing. But still, when you spend a lot of time in other cars, when you spend a lot of time away, it can be difficult to return home. And Michel has a lot of expectations. I'm sure he loves Brands Hatch. I'm sure he's, familiar in a sense that he has the past experience. But still, you can't expect wins from him. And really, it's these early laps in race conditions are going to be for him just getting used to what he knows so well. As funny as that sounds, as he goes alongside there on Alessandro Parigi and gets past heading out of the Paddock Hill bend and into the Druids hairpin.
A very good move there by Michel Didignon, also over Renrate. Tried a little bit on Roman Paslowski through the Paddock Hill bend. It didn't work out for him. Roman Paslowski still continues in 3rd place as they head through the Pilgrims Drop for 6th time in this race already.
Yeah, and we are riding on board with Thomas Torp right now, and he's the next one in line. And Christian, I'm gonna toss this one over to you, because you have really some experience from high level of racing and in high level of competition. And Thomas Thorpe's position is actually quite interesting here, in that he sees the blood now, so to speak, in Parici's driving. Parici just got overtaken. Do you think Thomas Thorpe should press the issue harder now, or do you think he should just wait and see what happens in this battle?
I think he's going to be really keen to keep on the back of Michel. Obviously, you're saying the legend of the series, really, and if there's one person you want to learn from, it's a driver such as him. So this is a good opportunity for him if he can obviously clear Parigi and kind of press on and follow. And I think he should take that, but obviously it's going to be so difficult. It really relies on a mistake from the car ahead of you to get a good run for a pass. And obviously we've seen a couple of passes after Paddock Hill, but really aside from that, the only other places we're seeing passes is when somebody makes a mistake in the GP loop and actually runs off the track.
Well, making mistakes, that is right now what Ovid Tringroyd wants to see from Ron Paslowski, but he's really not getting any of them from him as the two guys ahead of him start to run away even more. Just one lap ago we saw the new fastest lap by Nicola Pucci, 22.785 as Raphael Dorado starts to run into traffic.
Yeah, and that was Uwe Trengeride just touching the back of Pawlowski, I think. Roman Pawlowski was just ahead, and they were coming toward a fast corner, and that was very, very close. Too close for comfort, I would say. You don't want to be that close up to someone's gearbox. But they make it through the traffic as well. Robert Reynolds getting away from his way, but yeah, all this battling is really starting to, separate them from the leading duo, and it's also allowing, crucially, Rob Olenek right into the mix.
Yeah, and one thing we can report on is we've already lost 7 drivers in this race. Robert Reynolds in 29th is the last car still running. If you want to keep track of all the people running in this race, GSRC.tv is your way to go. That's our official live timing and scoring page on all of our broadcasts.
Indeed, that is so, and a lot of battles happening all over the racetrack as well, so we can only keep one of them at the time on the screen, sadly. So if you want to watch your favorite driver, how they're doing, back up the field, then, just head over to GSRC.tv. As we are moving further back, we are in a battle between Pellerito and Giesen, and this is for what is right now the 11th position. And further ahead of them as well, we got a great battle between Thorpe and Parigi for the 8th place. Thorpe was looking alongside, can't quite make the move through. But you can see, Christian, we talked earlier about what Thomas Thorpe should do. And here you see that Michel Durignon is starting to break away from him.
Yeah, you see Duron's trying to actually extend that gap a bit, and this has got to make Thorpe really kind of press the issue here to not let Duron get away. And this is actually consistent throughout the field. We're seeing this a lot. Obviously, the 3rd place spot over Trengerade is really kind of stuck in 4th right now, and his opportunity to win the race is slowly slipping away as he's still unable to make that pass. And really, it's just it's consistent throughout, and it's really down to Brands Hatch and how difficult it is to execute the pass. And you mentioned Giesen, and he's actually recovering. He went off in the first right-hander in the GP loop, so he lost a couple of spots and is now having to try and fight his way back.
Yeah, he's certainly making a recovered drive, and they got Corbreux ahead of them as well, who goes very wide. So this battle for 11th could indeed be interesting, Stefan.
Yeah, very much so, and especially because of the answer, or the question rather, that we have with 40 degrees Celsius track temperature as we have the side-by-side. Now your guys and tries to do it through the next turn. Will he be able to do that? And that's very much yes, sir.
Yes, indeed, and they are already heading towards the back straight now. Giesen now able to rise to the 11th position. Corbreux still holding on to the last position in the top 10. Pellerito now dropped another position back. So a great battle between those guys. And going back to P number 3, the battle for the last place in the podium. Roman Pawlowski really under pressure here, Stefan.
Yeah, at this point, Ovid Tringray could start working for Lotus as a Lotus 49 engineer, because he could probably take that gearbox apart right now. Oh, there's the mistake from Ron Paslowski that Ovid Tringray was waiting on, and he is past P number 3 for the Norwegian. And now we're really going to be able to see how much faster he can go without the German ahead of him.
Yeah, and meanwhile, further ahead of them, there's actually an interesting point of interest as well with this race, because Raphael Dorado leading this event, he's just half a second, or well, almost a second ahead of Nicola Cocci. with Uwe Trenger right now chasing them down. And Christian, you have worked a little bit with Raphael in the preparation for this event. How has it gone?
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. Raphael's actually one of my my Discord members, and me and him have been talking a lot. And we actually spent 3 hours last Saturday morning analyzing Montreal and his race and kind of what he could do to maybe improve a little bit. And obviously he's doing a great job.
No traffic.
That is one heck of a jinx there, Christian. I'm not gonna lie about that because he just crashed.
I am definitely gonna have to send him an immediate sorry about that because I've completely cursed him right there. So if he does watch this broadcast back, Raphael, I'm so sorry. But you did a great job getting the pole, and you had the race under control for 10 laps.
Yeah, so
very unfortunate there. Sorry.
Yeah, was about to add, forgot about our order and all, old habits die hard. Anyway, Randy Huff in the lapped car, getting a bit in the way in the corner, and Raphael, well, he was just surprised by the lack of speed from that car, I suppose. And that's what we were talking about, Stefan, traffic issues.
Yeah, traffic issues right there on screen. Just how having a little bit of a slide that he wasn't able to catch right in front of Raphael. And sadly, Raphael, as you were able to see, wasn't able to avoid that whatsoever. That, though, promotes our Italian driver second in the championship to first place, Nicola Gocci, number 3. It's going to be interesting what that now means to him, because Uwe Trenger last lap at 23.682 for the Italian versus a 23.679 for the Norwegian. They're pretty much same on pace with Roman Paslowski, 3/10 slower than the pair.
I'm really interested to see how Nicola Gocci now does with the leading position. He's a very talented driver, certainly a very humble individual, I would say. I followed his progress a lot through the Lotus 79 ranks when he was driving on the Sunday Grand Prix series there, and that's there on GSRC 2 tomorrow as well. Just a bit of a hint if you like to watch classic racing. But yeah, he's now transferred over to the Grand Prix Legends series, and he's doing very well over here. 123.3 there. He's leading the overall championship as well if we don't account for the drop weeks. So he's done very well throughout the season, and that's something that's I'm waiting to see if Uwe can catch him or not, but that's definitely going to be interesting to follow his progress as Stefan has a bit of an update from further back in.
Yeah, GSRC always proud ourselves that we are showing the battles throughout the field, and this is one of such battles. It's for P number 20, it's Andrew Eng and Andres Bruno right now holding that 20th position in his hand, but Andrew Eng, most definitely one of our title contenders for the F2 Championship, is looking to get that 20th position away. Maybe it already happens into Droids as he's looking to the right side, but he can't break late enough. So Andres Bruno for now slides his way through number 20.
Yeah, and that's a great battle going on there, and it's so difficult to fight side by side with these cars as well, the way they live and the way you don't have any downforce that people maybe expect from such light cars, and these are really lightweight machines that actually generate lift on a straight line instead of downforce. As we move further up the field into position number 8, and this is once again Harichi versus Torp, and this is now part number 2.
Yeah, very much so, as also right behind them, 5 seconds back, actually, Yuri Gaussen has finally caught Igor Kobov for that 10th place. So we're looking at that P8 battle. We're on board with Alessandro Parisi looking from his givers back at the German Thomas Torp. Let's see how well that's going to go now through Paddock Hill Bend. Pilgrims rise up the hill. Droids is corner number 2 for lap number 13.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we're halfway through this race. It's gone by very quickly. These guys very much in a battle, and Christian, I don't think they can, Thomas Torp can really think realistically about catching up to Michel Duranion anymore. He just has to focus on this battle, but the thing is, he has the benefit of being, separated in this battle in the sense that he has the car in front of him and then nobody to really battle with, and behind him he's got a lot of room to work with as well. How big of an advantage is that space to a driver who is involved in only a battle with 2 cars instead of many cars?
Yeah, I think that's huge because it allows him to kind of test things out. And if he does make a mistake, he knows that, well, aside from obviously if he has a big incident, if he just runs off track a little bit, he's not going to lose a position. And obviously not having that pressure from behind is a great thing. You can really kind of relax and you can follow the car ahead of you, put Parigi under some pressure without really stressing yourself out too much. And it's nice because you've got a lot of room to work with. And obviously, I think at the moment he just looks like he's waiting for a mistake. We've seen that with a couple of other drivers. Nobody really seems able to commit to an outright pass. It just looks like it's too dangerous.
Another battle we have, or rather it still is a battle that we have, that is the battle between Andres Bruno and Andrew Ng. They're getting joined now though by John Van Dorn, and it's not a joining that John Van Dorn likes because he's getting caught by both Ng and Bruno, but Ng just made him a little bit of a mistake there through Paddock Hill Bend. That slots him about a second back from Andres Bruno that he once again has to catch, and also Chris Hengler not too far behind under Ng, who starts to struggle a little bit with his rear end grip.
Yeah, well, as we always say in racing, catching up is one thing and passing is completely different of a matter. Especially here at Brands Hatch, we talked about how difficult it is to pass here. With these cars a little bit easier because you can kind of force somebody into a mistake, and also those high-speed corners are not so high-speed with no downforce, but still I'm highly skeptical about Sean leaving the door open for Andres Bruno.
Yeah, that is sure gonna be a little bit interesting there as we are looking up. By the way, I can report that Raphael Dorado is not out of the race yet, and he is actually catching Rob Olmanic by about 3/10 seconds. The gap there for fourth place, about 1 second. So most definitely something we can keep an eye on, but right now we're still focusing on the battle for 19th because this is where the action continues to be.
Yeah, and another interesting point I would like to make is that these guys are doing about 123s up top of the field. 122s were the fastest qualifying times. And this battle right now between Van Dorn and Bruno and Ng and Hengler and other guys who are, those four guys, they're now 47 seconds behind the leader. We are now 15 laps in, we still have 10 laps to go. So it is feasible, very, very much, that the leaders will catch up to this battle later on in this race. And, you know, Christian, you have experience from multi-class racing, I have experience from multi-class racing. The worst thing, absolutely worst thing you can come across as a leader of the event, as we watch these guys battle, is a battle pack.
Yes, absolutely, because obviously they're all having their own fight, and sometimes they won't see you coming at all, and other times when you get there, they're not really in a position or willing to actually give up the space to let you by because they'll lose time to their own fight. And that's got to be a concern for Nicola Kochi. Obviously at the moment he's got a pretty significant lead over Ove. He's got about 4.7 seconds, and just looking at the lap times, he's at the very least matching Ove or sometimes pulling away. So he's got a little bit of room to work with, but right now there's this huge gaggle of 4 or 5 cars, and it's really going to slow him up. I think there's a reasonable expectation that he's gonna catch these guys and be lapping them before the end of the race.
Looking at the number 3 of Nicola Kochi. Let's actually go back to the battle once again because they just got held up a little bit by Randy Howe into Sterling's and through clearways, straight with clearways. And Andres Bruno nearly lost out there over Andrew Ng and Chris Hengler because he got held up so much through Sterling. So that is very interesting. And one thing I want to come back with this battle is the Lotus 49, as pretty much everybody on iRacing knows, is a very demanding car. Not only that, but it's also very exhausting to drive it. So combining that with Brands Hatch, how exhausting is this, and might this be a problem for all of our drivers come the last few laps?
Yeah, I think so. I mean...
Speaking about exhaustion, Andres Bruno with a big slide there out of 30s, loses 2 positions, now to Chris Hengler and Andrew Ng.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of thing that so easily happens. In most any cars, you are clean at that point. You're in clear air, you're accelerating to a straight line, but he just lost the traction on the back end, and as a result of that, lost a couple of positions as well as he went to the grass. And yeah, the exhaustion very definitely a factor. The tires, they are designed to not only last a race, they are pretty much designed to last the season. with these cars, so they are very, very durable tires. That's not an issue. The issue is once the car gets lighter, it gets even more difficult to handle, especially for drivers who already have an oversteer setup, as we are moving to a battle for P number 10 as they're catching up to some traffic. And that's Igor Corbett and Yuri Giesen coming up to some traffic, and they could be in a bit of a bind here, Stefan.
Yeah, also in behind we had a pass for position. Bill Wright got past Chandler Pillarito because Pillarito made a mistake through Druids. So Bill Wright now up to 12th place. Your guys, though he's very hot on the heels of Igor Cabot. But I'm pretty sure that won't be happening, at least right now, as they also go past and Gary Anderson, who is sitting himself in 25th position, 1 lap down on the field.
Yeah, Owe and Giesen coming very close to Corbett now, and they could be very close onto the main straight, Stefan, here. Already Giesen looking to the outside.
Yeah, he is looking to set up that pass for the Brabham straight. He's getting the traction he needs, but it looks like he can't really accelerate much more than Igor before. But he's much better on the brakes. Look at that. Sends it into the apex, makes it stick, and he's now up into 10th place. Yuri Geisen from nowhere into 10th, but here now also comes Igor. Little bit of a slide there on the apex for both of them through Druids, but Igor can't put it out, power down. So Yuri Geisen confirmed in 10th place.
Very brave stuff from both of these guys, and really goes to show the excellence and the sportsmanship in this series. With these old cars, you need to be extra careful to not slide into one another, and that's a really great move and an awesome pass, Christian.
Yeah, that was a fantastic move right there. I really didn't expect him to try that on into Druids, but he made it work, and it actually looks like Igor's not giving up on it yet. He's still trying to fight back as they get onto the GP loop.
Yeah, and a very clean look there to the inside. Didn't quite pull it off, but certainly showing intent. And all of this is leading Bill Wright potentially into this battle as well in the upcoming lap, because he's right up on her tail as well. So, you know, this could be very soon a 3-car battle, depending on how well Corbett can keep up to the back of Yuri Giesen, who is right now up to the top 10 step.
Yeah, he is doing a good job. Geisen started in 11th place, so he's up now 1. Igor Cabot, he's also up 1. He started in 12th place. Philippe O'Brien, just an update there, 27th to 12th place right now, and he is looking at getting 2 more positions. Looking up though to P number 4. It's Rob Olnick versus Raphael Dorado. That is going to be very interesting. A damaged car of Dorado. He is not going to have the straight line speed he probably needs, especially here into Hawthorne Bend. But it might still be a good pass for him through Surtees or into Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, indeed. And just want to say, with a race like that, I think Bill could be the honorary right brother with the way he's flying today. But yeah, Dorado on board with, well, watching him right now, trying to catch up to P number 4, and well, it's a real shame what happened to him. But even if we're risking his race once again, I gotta throw it to you, Kristen. Do you know him any better as a driver? How is he as a driver? Is he the kind of driver who, you know, can get over disappointing things quickly, or is he more of a, you know, hard charger type of guy?
Well, just from having seen how intense this kind of practicing is, and all of his note keeping and everything, I can definitely say he's going to be disappointed with this, as he's actually taking a look on the inside of Paddock Hill. Amazing that he's actually got the pace still with how much damage is on the car and how crumpled the nose is. But I definitely think he's going to be disappointed. But I think he'll be happy with the pace that he had, obviously, to have the pole. I think he'll be a little bit...
Oh, that's Roman Pawlowski. That's Pawlowski.
Yeah.
He's made a mistake earlier on. So Pawlowski actually spun at the exit of Druid's hairpin, and that's why he's all in the mix, and suddenly Rob Olenek finds himself on the podium.
Let's actually try and get that replay, because it is one of those mistakes that I would really write down to exhaustion, because he just goes very wide onto the grass and spins it right on that out the grass.
Yeah, that was you know, exhaustion mistake, but he was also displaying a mix of car control as well as a bit of luck to do one of the basic things you do behind the wheel of a race car. That's a 360. He hit the grass, but he didn't hit anything beside the grass. So
and Yuri Geisen is crashed.
Oh no.
Yuri Geisen has crashed with Igor Cabot outside of 30th. Yuri Geisen right now upside down. He is not gonna go anywhere.
No, apart from the back to the pit lane and maybe to the local medical center after it. But yeah, that's a sad sight. And here we see a replay of it as well. So they're coming to the fourth corner of the race track, and yeah, that's a bit of a contact, and then the cars come together and showcases so how easily the Lotus 49 can really go upside down and go turtle, and yeah, there is not much a driver can do in that situation.
And this onboard is gonna show it very well. There was a lot of netcode between those two, so really nothing both can really do there about that, avoiding that incident right there. So very unlucky for both Igor and Yuri, especially for Yuri, as that got his race. Back up to the last spot on the podium is Rob Olenek right now holding that one in his hand, with Raphael Dorado very much wanting to get that podium back after leading this race for about 10 laps or so. And then spinning sadly into the barrier, which you can see the outcome. His nose cone is missing right now. Roman Pawlowski, not a mistake from him, sends it a little bit away from Dorado. So really not the race of the German, as he is looking at minimizing the damage dealt out to him.
Yeah, and that's Randy Hafter going past once again. Dorado this time able to get through cleanly after what happened earlier on in this event. Yeah. So Olenek looking at a bit of a surprise podium really here after what it looked like early on. Dorado then sitting behind him in fourth place, and Pawlowski looking to climb back onto that top three, onto that trio. And these guys are going to be battling all the way to the end with what we got 3.5 laps to go on this race. So it's not much time at all. And really been a very exciting race. Very exciting race at those guys, between those guys as well. Now we have interesting battles all over the track. We have Erik Loikel actually spinning on 13th place, and Antti Keränen moving alongside him.
Yeah, it does seem like that. So, and a small update I want to give out as Erik Loikel gets passed for the 13th position by Antti Keränen. It is the battle for first place. Nikola Kochi versus Ove Trengren. We really weren't sure of Ove's pace compared to Nikola Kochi and what Kochi can do after the spin of Dorado leading this race, if it will go to the head or not. But we can report that Ove Trengren and Nikola Kochi are pretty much holding space here. Thomas Torp finds his way into pit lane, so it seems like he had a crash as well. But Ove Trengren, he's not getting any closer since he passed Kozlowski for that second place, because we're still holding at 5 seconds between those two.
Yeah, and Rob Olenek here on third place. You can see the battle train there, third, fourth, and fifth. They have just under 3 laps to go for these guys. And, you know, Christian, I gotta throw it to you. Out of these 3 guys in this situation, considering how this race has progressed, who would you like to be? Would you like to be Roman Pawlowski sitting in 5th place on the popcorn position? Would you like to be in the middle, or would you like to be on the lead defending?
Well, I think Pawlowski has the most enviable position here. I think obviously Olenek's really up against it. He's got to defend against 2 drivers who were actually ahead of him for the vast majority of the race. I think Raphael's kind of not in as a nothing to lose situation as you might think. I know he's missed a couple of rounds already this season. He is looking at points. Obviously a DNF is absolutely not what he wants. So he wants the position, he wants the 3rd place, the podium, but he's got to keep an eye on points. So I think definitely Pawlowski's the position I'd want to be in, just to pick up on anything if there is an incident, or if there is an opportunity to maybe get both drivers at once.
To be honest, with this being Brands Hatch, Raphael Dorado tries to have a go at Rob Olenek. Rob Olenek with a little bit of a slide on the outside of Pedro Kale Benter, still side by side through Druids. Who can get the better launch? It is Rob Olenek, and he's going to defend that 3rd place. And Rob Olenek, his position, that's where I would like to be in this position right now of the race. Just 2 more laps to go. And Rob Olenek, he is very comfortable right now as Roman Pawlowski tries to go around the outside of Dorado. That's going to be interesting. Let's see how much he can get his foot down very early on this straight. It seems like it's going to be enough to pass Raphael Dorado round the outside of the off-hampered surface.
That's an incredible move. Round the outside into the corner. Sure, Dorado was looking to the inside. His entry was a little bit compromised, but still a brave move and very well executed by Roman Pawlowski, who's now finding himself in fourth and a shoe-in once again to the podium he lost earlier.
Nicola Kochi coming out of Clark Curve into the Brabham Straight. He is starting his last lap of this race. White flag in the air. Just one more lap to go. 9 corners to transition through. And Nicola Kochi will be your winner here today. But let's focus on the battle for third place as long as we can. Rob Olnick still holding third in his hand. Rob Pawlowski though, he's looking very eager to get that into his hand.
Yeah, that he is, you know, he's looking hungry, he's looking feisty. And don't forget about Raphael Dorado either. He's still in the back of this pack, and if anything happens, which we hope doesn't, to these guys ahead of him, to Rob and to Roman, then, you know, Raphael will be right there to pick up the pieces and, you know, finishing the podium in a race that he was leading for such a long time. He started in the pole, mind you. And here we come to the back straight.
Oh!
We can watch it. Oh, Dorado coming very close to Pawlowski there, but they just managed to miss it.
I think there might actually have been a little bit of a touch as half the track has already been transversed. Hawthorne Bend, turn number 5. They're through right now, the very fast uphill right-hander. Now going into Westfield Bend, a double apex right-hander. Dingledale and Sheens up the hill. And we're gonna go over to Nicola Kochi, who is coming into the last turn. The battle pack for 17th, just ahead of him, is gonna stay behind him. Give it up for Nicola Kochi, your winner of today's round 7 the Grand Prix Legends Series from Brands Hatch. Orbit Trengrid gonna take away second place. Where is the third place finisher though? Rob Olnick, he's actually gonna take it away ahead of Ron Pawlowski and Raphael Dorado finishing in 5th place.
And Durnion and Tyler very close as well for the 6th place. Durnion gonna have a run to the inside. Get the cameras ready. This is gonna be for the finish, and it's gonna be Tyler by 1 tire length. Wow.
Next on the screens we have, I think that is Philippe Wright versus Chandler Pillarito. Very much is so. Philippe Wright gonna take that away by about a second. We have still the battle for 13th. That's Warren Watkins trying to take that away from Colin Bentley. They are about 4/10 apart from each other. Let's see what Warren can do here, Christian.
I think Warren's going to be able to hold on. Big run to the line, though. Might have a shot at it. He's going to get him.
He's going to get it!
Yes!
Yeah, he
Warren
did.
Watkins.
Got it!
He got it. 18 milliseconds.
0.018 seconds. Colin Bentley loses out on 14th position. Only finishes in 14th. There you were able to see that one.
Yeah, and at GSRC we are all about the big finish, and that certainly was one. Wow.
Very much so. With all of that said and done, the racing might be over here in Kent, but the show is far from done. We're gonna step aside for just a few moments to take a breather, but we will be quickly back for the post-race show where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far as GSRC will be back after these messages. welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show streaming to your home on the global SimRacing channel via the iRacing eSports Network. Are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description to learn more. Learning more about the official results in the very end is also a thing we're very interested about, and Nicola Cochi did lead the way pretty much all the way after Raphael Dorado did have a meeting with a little bit of an Namco barrier after 8 laps. Over train grade finishing 5 laps behind in second, with Rob Olenek coming out in third just ahead of Aaron Pachlowski and Raphael Dorado. Bill Tyler finishes in 6th place, just ahead of Michel Dudino, with Alessandro Parisi finishing where he started in 8th place, and Billy Bob Ryder. What a race for him, 27th to 9th, and that is one for history books for him, for sure. Chandler Pellerito, he did close out your top 10 of this race.
Igor Corbreux just lost out at the top 10 position at the final closing laps, ending up 11th, and Antti Keränen, he was one of our rookie sensations here, and he finished in 12th position after putting the wrong fuel in qualifying and having a bit of an off-track incident on lap number 1. Warren Watkins finishing 13th, Colin Bentley 14th, Eric Leukel 15th, ahead of Robert Plumley, Andreas Bruno, Andrew Eng, Chris Hengler, and Sean Van Dorn rounding out your top 20, and those guys already 1 lap down.
And moving on to other drivers 1 lap down, Jan Lehman came home in 21st, Terry Tromhazer in 22nd, Gary Anderson was the last car, only 1 lap down in 23rd, he had a good race, started 30th, up 7 spots. Sebastian Tixer unfortunately came home 2 laps down in 24th, Jasmine Beach, and again 2 laps down in 25th. Then we had Robert Reynolds in 26th, 3 laps down. Thomas Torp had that unfortunate incident and unfortunately ended up back in 27th after running near the top 10 for most of the race. Dave Cohen in 28th, Yuri Giesen and Randy Hurg came home in 29th and 30th.
Yeah, everybody behind Thomas Torp is actually also DNF'd, except for I think Randy Howe, who managed to finish this race, but you're able to see that the last few positions of this race, as we're going to talk to our winner of today, Nicola Cochi. A little bit unexpected, I would say, with Raphael Dorado pretty much having you controlled over the first few laps until his spin.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate for Raphael. I'm very sorry for him because I was sure that we will have battle until the end. I was sure about that because I could measure his pace and my pace during the week, and we were very, very close. But as soon as I saw the number of cars in the grid, I was kind of focusing everything I had for be very, very careful for lapping cars, because I knew that the track here is pretty small. A lot of cars there. Very, very easy to do a stupid little mistake that could end your race instantly. So I was very focused to do that right, and not too much about the pace, because I knew that I had enough pace to stay with the front guys.
Well, Nicola, we did talk a little bit about this track and car combination Lotus 49 Brands Hatch, probably one of the toughest combinations you can have on the iRacing simulation. But how did it feel out there, especially with the hot track temperature of 40 degrees Celsius?
Yeah, I kind of like this combo. That wasn't my first time that I raced the 49 at Brands Hatch, and I think I had always had very good and fun races here. The only variable can just make a lot of difference, as I said, is how many cars are in the field, and that's going to change a lot of the experience. But in general, I really like the flow and the kind of easiness to do mistakes of this track. You have to be very, very precise, collected, not push too much, because otherwise you're going to do very, very hard big mistakes here.
Yeah, very, very interesting combination anyway, especially for a broadcast. Pretty sure though, after this win here, you did most definitely take over once again the championship lead. How are you looking forward on trying to defend that against McClatch in the second half of the season?
Well, I think it's going to be like very, very hard to do that. And it seems almost we are chasing each other because I miss a race, he missed a race, I get a DNF, he has like some kind of issue. It's a little bit like a hit or miss. But I think that on the race that we run, we are square as a number race. But I will lose one race, maybe two in August. So it's going to be very tight, and the number of races that everybody are going to do, it's going to be a big variable to take in account. Before exiting the booth, just let me say hi to my buddy Ocean. I heard his voice what I was waiting for, and I'm really happy that he's come by to the older cousins of the Lotus. Hi, Ocean.
Hello, Nicola, and congratulations for the win. At least you can finally drive fast, huh?
Yeah, but don't leave me for that. I'm always watching the other Lotus's races, and I'm really interested. I think I will come back sooner or later.
Okay, glad to hear that, Nicola. I'm looking forward to it. Well, gonna throw you back with Stefan. Stefan, you have any more questions?
Actually, sadly, we do not have any more time with the interview for Nicola. So Nicola, congrats once again on your first place finish here at Brands Hatch, and good luck for next week at Spa-Francorchamps.
Thank you, guys. Really look forward for the track, and I hope to keep like the battle up there to give you a good end of the season. See you all. Bye bye.
That was Nicola Kochi right there then, and also the only driver that wanted to talk to us today, so probably everybody extremely exhausted after today's race. With that, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Center for having us on their 10th lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC, the broadcaster. Right now on your screen you can see all the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde to provide us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_rap. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down in your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Ossian, and Christian and Dougie as well, obviously, for the beautiful camera work, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Nicola Kochi took away the victory here in virtual Dartford. With that said, until next time, servus and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.